Hello, everybody. Nowadays, UFC events are getting so fucking lame. I mean, the main events themselves are okay, but the undercard, the main card, they're just not okay anymore. They're just fucking boring. Sometimes there are cards, the whole card, I don't give a fuck about that. I'm a fuck about those fights. I couldn't care less about the fights. Like today's fight, Machida versus Anders. Machida is way out of his prime. He's fighting Anders, who's not even ranked, and it went the distance. The co-main event was Shevchenko. Shevchenko is a good fighter, but her opponent is who the fuck is that girl? And the undercard is so full of so many who the fuck is that guys. I mean the Thiago Santos birth versus Anthony Smith was hell of a fight, but just the whole card was fucking goddamn boring. Jacare Sosa versus Derek Brunson too. I mean the main event itself. I mean I didn't really care that much about these fight because for some reason it wasn't that interesting. I mean the knockout was cool, but it wasn't like really interesting. If you look at the co-main event, Bermudez versus Andre Fili. Really? The undercard is horrible. I mean, UFC 220 was okay. UFC 220, the main event and the co-main event was, oh my goodness. Stipe, Monster Miocic versus Francis Ngannou. It's a hell of a fight. Oh, Daniel Cormier versus Volkan Ozdemir. Oh, but uh, but besides that, the whole card is so fucking horrible. And the fight night, Stevens versus Choi. Stevens versus Choi is good. It was very, very good. But the undercard is so full of who the fuck are those guys? UFC 219, one of the most horrible um pay per view. Like Cyborg versus Home. If there was a finish, it would have been okay. But it went the distance. Habib Nurmagomedov versus Edson Barboza. It was okay. But the undercard, full of shit. Lawler versus Dos Anjos. Um, this one was pretty good. This one was. It seems like it was pretty good. It's kind of a better. This card it was like deserves to be okay pay per view. Like Lawler versus Dos Anjos, good fight. Lamas versus Emmett, okay fight. Ponzinibbio versus Mike Perry, very good fight. Teixeira versus Serkinov, very okay fight. Four very good fights. That's okay. Swanson versus Ortega. The fight itself is interesting, but the undercard is so fucking full of who the fuck are those guys. Holloway versus Aldo 2. UFC 218. This one is decent. Holloway versus Aldo 2. It's okay. Overeem versus Ngannou. Cejudo versus Pettis. If you're into flyweights, it's okay. Alvarez versus Gagey. Ooh. Torres versus Watterson. It's okay. And the this one's pretty good. And the Bisping versus Gastelum. I mean, it was definitely in Shanghai, so they had some very very. The card was full of uh Shanghaian people fighters, but except for Bisping versus Gastelum, what the fuck? Verdum versus Tybura. What? I mean, UFC 217 was awesome. UFC 217 main event, Bisping versus Saint Pierre. Oh, Garbrandt versus Dillashaw. Oh. Jan Jacek versus Namajunas. Thompson versus Masvidal. Oh my goodness. even the undercard is pretty good. Like the I mean the prelim is pretty good. St. Preux versus Corey Anderson. That's a pretty good fight. You know, this card. This is the this is this this is the kind of card, fight card that I want from UFC. UFC 217 is solid. It's like 10 out of 10. But I think from some point UFC has been very boring. Like some fights are good, definitely, but the whole card as a whole is fucking horrible. It's just horrible. I mean, for example, like for especially for pay-per-views, like so upcoming events, UFC 218, it's a pay-per-view. 218 is a pay-per-view, and it has Hunt versus Blades. It's pretty good fight. Romero versus Rockhold. I mean, personally, I think Luke Rockhold is gonna smash him. I mean, there's a lot of YouTube comments saying that Yoel Romero will take this easy, but I think Luke Rockhold is gonna win this easy. I don't think it's gonna be easy, but I'm not sure if it's gonna be easy. But I think he's definitely gonna take this. Like Yoel Romero, for him to win this fight, I think it's gonna be by knockout. He can only win by knockout. Luke Rockhold can win by knockout. He can win by submission. He can win by decision. And Luke Rockhold, at his best, I think he can beat anybody. Then people is gonna say, well, then why did he lose to Michael Bisping? And there was a fluke. No, there was not fluke. He lost to Michael Bisping because Michael Bisping is God. That's why he lost to Michael Bisping. And Yoel Romero, he's a strong guy, but he's just, I don't think how he's gonna beat Luke Rockhold than knocking him out, and I don't think Luke Rockhold is gonna get knocked out by Yoel Romero. So I think it's an easy win for Rockhold, but surprisingly, a lot of people think that Yoel Romero is gonna win this fight. If Luke Rockhold is an underdog, if I was a guy, if I was type of guy who bets money on fights, it would be like easy money, easy money. Yeah, I mean, my point was, it's a pay-per-view, and for people like me who have UFC Fight Pass, it's like 14.99 for standard definition. It's okay, but for majority of people, they pay like $50 for pay-per-view, and you only get Romero versus Rockhold and Hunt versus Blades. That's like, what the fuck? That's horrible. And the next event, the next pay per view is UFC 222, and they just lost the UFC 222 main event because Max Holloway is injured. I mean, it happens, but the main event is gone. Maybe there's a rumor that TJ Dillashaw versus Cody Garbrandt 2 could happen, but TJ Dillashaw says, I don't want to fight. So I don't know what's gonna happen. And the co-main event is Holloway versus Hector Lombard. I mean, that's not a bad fight, but does it deserve to be co-main event for pay-per-view? And Stefan Struve versus Andrei Arlovski. I'm definitely looking forward to this fight because Andrei Arlovski is my favorite fighter. But for majority of people, in many people's eyes, Andrei Arlovski is a old, washed-up fighter, and Struve is a lengthy fighter who can use his strength. I mean, who can use his reach. So it's a incompetent long fighter versus a glass chin fighter. So I don't think they're gonna be really looking forward to this fight either. And then when I look at this fight card, I don't think this deserves to be pay-per-view, man. Like, you have to pay $50 for this one. I mean, for me, Struve versus Arlovski, I would pay $50 for that because I'm an Arlovski fan. But as I said, if you don't care about Arlovski, if you don't care about Struve, if you like, It's horrible. What the fuck is going on with the UFC? I mean, UFC 226 is like Stipe Miocic versus Daniel Cormier. Oh my goodness, that's perfect. That's perfect. That's perfect. Oh my goodness, that's gonna be epic. It's gonna be epic, motherfuckers. UFC 220, 223. It has Tony Ferguson versus Habib Nurmagomedov. It's a good fight. It's a very, very good fight. I'm looking forward to this. And the co-main event, Rose Namajunas versus Joanna Jędrzejczyk. That's a very, very good fight. I want to see if Joanna Jędrzejczyk can bounce back. But the rest of the card is like Ally Quinta versus Paul Felder. Paul Felder is pretty good, but I mean, like from some point, these pay-per-views are getting so lame. UFC on Fox, Dos Santos versus Miocic. It was UFC on Fox, and it's better than UFC pay-per-views nowadays. The main event, Junior Dos Santos versus Stipe Miocic, number one. Oh my goodness. Co-main event, Rafael Dos Anjos versus Nate Diaz. Very, very good fight. And then Alistair Overeem versus Stefan Struve. Interesting fight. Man Mitchell versus Gabriel Gonzaga. Oh my goodness. And then Joanna Jędrzejczyk versus Claudia Gadelha. I mean, at that time, Joanna Jędrzejczyk wasn't that big, but still it was pretty good. You know, this UFC on Fox card is much, much better than UFC pay-per-views nowadays. I mean, I don't know what's happening, but these cards are getting so fucking lame. I don't know. That's my opinion. So I want to know if you guys are feeling the same way. I think from some point these pay-per-views and just fight night cards are getting so fucking lame for fucking reason. I don't know what's happening, but especially today's event, fight night, Belém, Brazil. What the fuck? I mean, I'm frustrated because I'm a huge hardcore fan of UFC. That's why I'm disappointed. You know, but this is only just my opinion. So leave a comment down below. Are you frustrated about UFC fight cards nowadays? So leave a comment down below. So thank you for watching this video, and until next time, goodbye.